Hi there. I thought I would steal a few minutes from this day to make the promised video of how I manage my stage 3 non-metastatic, hopefully, breast cancer. I know I've promised this for a while, but truly I've been too tired to put all the knots together, and I've focused on myself and resting these days and trying to not go insane with everything that's happening about my surgery and my denied surgery. I was supposed to have surgery yesterday. I was supposed to have surgery 3 weeks ago, and insurance has always denied surgery. But now I found a place here in the Valencian community that is an oncological center and that has a convention with everyone living in this state of Valencia here in Spain to get treatment for free. And that probably is gonna save me. And I'm really grateful for that. They have accepted me. I have an appointment in 2 days with my new surgeon. I can't see any reason why they wouldn't go on with treatment. In this case, there's no insurance involved, so I should be safe this time. Let's go to what I do in the meantime to manage my cancer. So the first thing I'm doing, I'm following Siegfried's metabolic protocol. Professor Siegfried, he is a professor and researcher, I think now at Boston University. If I'm correct me if I'm wrong. Anyhow, I contacted him and he sent me all his informative leaflets and all his research, which I was already accustomed to, being that I was a researcher too. But it was nice to get all his package. I was really happy. He does not give medical advice, and I don't give any medical advice. I only share my own story and my own experience. Also, one of my first teen loves is a cancer research at San Francisco Gene Tech, I believe. And he highly suggested Siegfried's protocol too. Go figure, right? So I'm definitely doing the metabolic protocol, and that entails, so I have tweaked it. I have worked at it for a few weeks. Then I fell off that perfection that I had reached when my mother died a few weeks back, because of the stress of all the changes, of literally the impossibility of following it the way I needed to. And my tweak is I eat in the morning. My last eating window is hopefully before 1. And that means sometimes I start eating at 11, and sometimes I just eat between 11 and 11:30, and that's it. And that gives me the best ratio between glucose and ketones. Literally by 4 or 5 p.m. my ketones spike up at 3.4. Yesterday I had them at 3.9, which gave me to a GKI, glucose to ketone index, of 0.9, which is fantastic for healing cancer and many other ailments, but my focus is cancer, obviously. When I was doing this OMAD system and eating in the afternoon or even later at night, it wouldn't work. Like, there was just no way I could get my glucose down under 80, and my ketones would just never be over 2. Never. It didn't matter what I ate. For me, time is the most important thing. And I know that for Sammy, time also is very important. And she had told me already a few weeks back to eat more in the morning. I just couldn't in that period. I was just so overwhelmed by all the stress and all the changes in our life. My mother lived with us, so it was just not losing my mother. Facing quite a bit of trauma that was related with her, that has nothing to do with her physical death, and changes in the house, and obviously with a lot of other things. I made a mistake there. I made a big mistake. Sometimes really, I think we have to get over our feelings and figure out whether we want to live or not. And I do want to live. And so I just got my shit together and went back on the schedule that I knew was working. And it's working. So this is food-wise. I'm still pretty much carnivore, except I have added 2 or 3 the mini pickles because I need something that sometimes it's really hard for me to eat in the morning, and I've noticed that the pickles have helped open my stomach. And at night I have 3 little Kalamata olives, the Greek olives. Olive have 0 carbs and very little fibers. They're mostly fatty. So I kind of tweak it because I feel starving at night around 7, and I read that someone else is doing the same protocol, usually black Kalamata olives, and I said whatever works, and it works. It helps me go to the next day, so I don't care. It's not carnivore. Oh my god, I really don't care. And I had a little bit of rice. I asked my wife to make a little bit of rice for the same reason. We make rice, then we put it in the fridge because that lowers the glucose index when you eat it if it has been cold first. And rice also has a structure that when it's boiled with vinegar, it breaks down a lot of the starch it has. So you actually eat a lot of that because it's been pre-digested from the cooking. So it's also a tweak. The thing is, I need to put on weight, and rice is a little bit of carbs that might help me put on weight because I'm really wasted. I weigh 47 kilos for 1 meter 72, and that's really, really underweight. So that's the food part. Oh, by the way, a little bit of rice. I asked, Esther gave me this much, like little, maybe 2 spoonfuls, not even, with a boatload of butter. So it was actually butter topped with a little bit of rice. I wanted a lot more, I tell you the truth, a lot more, especially when I tasted it. My wife said no, and that's okay. I am very thankful for her support because I know she's supporting me. It's just sometimes I want to binge on something that feels good, and carbs do feel emotionally good. They're a drug. Anyhow, that's my food. Now let's go to the supplements. Fenbendazole. I do take fenbendazole per Siegfried's research that he put together, and Tippin's protocol, and many other researchers have a few papers showing about protocols with kids. It works very good with kids too. I am personally taking the 222 milligrams now, 4 days on, and 3 days off to give my system a rest. I was taking the 444 when I started because of how fast my tumor was growing. I do believe now that my tumor has stopped growing. It was growing really fast. Like in the last month, I could feel, like you could see and feel it like expanding really fast. It's not anymore. It has actually completely changed shape. It started as a ball over a year ago, like a little marble, and it kept growing. And then suddenly it started changing completely, where it became like invasive, like an octopus. And now it's going back to being a ball. So it has a very defined shape, which I believe is really good because the harder and the more defined a tumor is, the better the outcomes. Means it's not spreading, which is really good. I'm not sure it has reduced in size as much, but I mean, I've been on it like for a month or something, maybe 5 weeks at the most. So I'm not expecting miracles to happen yet. But this is in line with what fenbendazole should do, like stop the growth and reduce its size slowly. On top of that, I'm taking it with lots of fats. I'm literally swallowing some butter, fenbendazole, and then the butter, because it gets absorbed only through fat, and that is very important. If anyone takes it without the fat, it doesn't get absorbed, or you just literally get rid of it. On top of that, I'm taking NAC, which I've been taking since I had the jabs because it helps dissolving the shit that came with that. I had to take them, so I had no choice. I had to go fly to get my mother because my dad had died, and I could not fly without the jab. So I had to make a choice, and that was the choice I made. I did not believe that was a good choice. In retrospect, I'm really unhappy about my choice, but sometimes life just happens. Anyhow, the other things I'm taking is artemisinin. Oh God, I can't. You'll see it written. I'll write it down. Anyhow, because that too, especially in conjunction with fenbendazole, has shown great results with all type of cancers. It supports mitochondria, so that too, anything that supports mitochondria helps cancer, because I firmly believe, after reading all the research, that cancer is a metabolic dysfunction of our mitochondria. I take resveratrol, which is actually one of the phenols in wine that has shown to have good effects in apoptosis and helping get rid of cells that are dead or malfunctioning. Then I take, well, that's it. And then I take 3 times a day, morning, midday, and evening, methylene blue and turkey tails. Methylene blue helps with mitochondrial function, so that is just boost the mitochondria. And turkey tail is per Paul Stamens, which I've always been a very big fan. I think he's more mushroom than human being, but I love him. He's amazing. And living in Portland, I've seen his conferences a few times, and there's just nothing like his passion for mushroom to learn something about it. And he healed his mother with turkey tail, her breast cancer, so I'm pretty sure it won't hurt me to take it. Really hard to get in Europe. I'm not sure why. I had to almost smuggle it in from some eBay store in the US to get it here. If anyone knows of a turkey tail source, a good one, not just BS sources here in Europe, please write it, because I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not sure I can afford to ship it from America again, but anyhow. So I'm taking that 3 times a day too, and then at night the CBD oil, pure CBD extract, full spectrum, so CBD, CBG, CBN. I used to work in a grow. I used to make that stuff when I lived both in Arizona and in Oregon. That was kind of fun. I had never taken it, but now I do. I think that's it. Oh no, and then of course lots of grounding. I ground every day. My wife made a pit here for me for when we cannot go to the beach, when I'm too exhausted to go to the beach. When we go to the beach, of course, that's the best place in the world. Water, sand, that's the best electron battery charging there is on our planet, because water helps the transmission even more than our dry soil, but here we water it. And then sun exposure. I have an infrared machine that I should actually do a lot more, but believe it or not, it's a lot to stay after all of this. It doesn't seem that much, but it's a lot. And so I do infrared in situ, so right in front of my breast, because it's really a few millimeters under my skin, so the infrared will go through. And then sun exposure in the morning when we have the full spectrum of the infrareds, and then when the ultraviolet come up, I go out too. And then at night, when the ultraviolet is still in the sky, and then at night I only use, we have non-blue lights. We have blue light blockers on all our screen. We have blue light blockers to put on on my glasses, and all our bulbs have been changed so that they do not have any blue light, because blue light too disrupts mitochondria function, disrupts hormonal signaling. When you have blue light when it's not supposed to be, you confuse your system. You tell your system to make hormones that it should not make, and I don't want that to happen either. And I think that's it. And on top of that, I went back to creating art. I used to be an artist. On top of being a psychologist, I'm autistic. I have so many interests in my life. But well, it helps. when it's hard to move from a couch or chair, art helps a lot. I'm really grateful for all my little interests right now. I'm using all of them. I started collecting cactuses. It's something that I don't need to be on top of too much. It was a little bit of a curve in the beginning, going from growing a garden to growing cactuses. They need very different things, but they then, once you know what they need, you don't have to be after them, so I don't have to be anxious that I have to care for them too much, and I still enjoy the hell out of them. And my new mosaic passion and collecting rocks here, one I can that I really enjoy, so I can ground and collect rocks and then make mosaics of it, which is a win-win all over. And I can do something different with my wife too, because she likes it, so that's kind of fun to do together, on top of my spiritual practice and just enjoying the hell out of life and listening to the little voice of creation that is being put inside of me. So I have no expectations to leave this world anytime soon. I am feeling quite anxious about my appointment on Monday in Valencia. Valencia is a beautiful city. It's really beautiful, but I'm very scared of going there. I am still autistic, and anything new is really hard for me. Meeting new people, especially people that will have my life in their hands, is hard. I'm working on it. I'm working on just letting it go and giving it in the hands of the higher force. I mean, I have no say in that, so I will just do my best to let it completely go and be a passenger on that trip. And that's it. And then drive back and relax. And I'll let you know how it goes on my next update. And thank you so very much for supporting me. Thank you so very much for everything you're doing and for being there. I appreciate all your comments and all your essence to the bone, really. And if you want to know more and want to know how this journey ends up, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button so that you'll know when I post an update. And that's it for today. Thank you very much again for being here with me on this journey, and I'll see you soon. Take care.